I will share the file. Okay. So this part is little bigger and that's why we are getting delayed with this. But today it will get over and will connect with the new part. So until now we have studied about the various types of appurtenances, and this one is the next one appurtenances, and that is the inverted siphon. Already we have discussed on that day also. I hope you understood, but still I will repeat some part because it was just open for the last 5 minutes. I told you inverted siphon is nothing but the arrangement made for the emergency situations, means where there is no option to transport the water, where there is the obstacles. Okay, obstacle may be the roadway, railway, stream, river, any kind of obstacle may be there. And in that case, we are running the sewer line deep below the hydraulic grade line. Hydraulic grade line will be the similar as incoming is coming. So this way, in this next figure, it is shown what is the below the hydraulic grade line. And usually siphon is transporting water from higher level to lower level. And that's why it is called the siphon. But here we are picking up water from lower level to higher level without pump, without pump. So that is known as the inverted siphon. So purpose is to carry the sewer under the obstructions, and the sewage through such a pipeline will flow under pressure, which is greater than the atmospheric pressure. So for MCQ type of questions, you should remember that in a inverted siphon, the pressure will be in a siphon will be greater than the atmospheric pressure. Usually in a siphon, water flows by the gravity. Okay, there is also pressure, but it flows by gravity. But here in inverted siphon, it flows. It is flowing here. The pressure is greater than the atmospheric pressure. Okay, now you can see once again this figure. So this is a ground level. Okay, at the inlet side or where from water is coming, the direction is shown in this manner. So here is the ground level, the sewage is coming, but here is the obstacle and we want to transport that sewage. Many of the times such a situation doesn't comes, but sometimes comes. So in that case, you need to provide such kinds of provision, solution. Okay, so may not be river, but definitely there are the railways and highways. Okay, so in that case also we need to go this way only. And because it is a very deep in a ground and where it will be quite difficult to go for the maintenance and all those things. So we need to take very high care. So we don't prefer, usually it is not preferred to go for, but here wherever there is no option, we need to go for the inverted siphon. So I requested that day to draw the figure. Those who have drawn, it is fine. If you have not drawn, I will give you a simple figure to draw. Easily you can draw it. I will show you here. Easily you can draw it. Will you go for? How many of you have completed on that day? So may I give you 5 minutes to draw this figure and I will explain it once again. First draw it. Hello? Nobody's talking, nobody's replying. What I should understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
You will draw it, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. So 3 figures you need to draw. 1, 2, and 3. So first you draw this. So this part, the way it is drawn here, you need to draw to this side also. But in hurry, I might have drawn like this because of the space, lack of space. Someone is unmuting and muting. Is there any question? If you have question, you can ask me. through chat box or through unmuting yourself. Gnaneshwar Mali replied that he has completed. We'll wait for 2 more reply and otherwise we'll start. Okay. Then I will open the next slide to draw. Yeah, received 2 more responses from Snehal Patil and Sachin Brokde. I hope everybody have completed, and I will open the next slide to draw. Okay, this is a section, AB section. How it is, I will explain that. I will explain it properly. Okay, now here plan. Okay, until you are not understanding in both, then only you will understand it better. Okay, draw it. Draw both these figures. Okay, received a message from Kshitija. It is completed. Let us wait for others. Gitanjali Bagal, first time replied. Gitanjali Bagal, Poonam Mane. Okay, good. Received responses from many of you. So we'll proceed now. Thank you, everybody. Okay, by looking at this figure, you might have understood how we can go for the inverted siphon. So inverted siphon is it can be provided wherever there is a urgent need. This is the first thing we are clear with this. Now at the inlet chamber, so we need to construct a one chamber at the inlet side and one chamber at the outlet side. Means from this portion, the wastewater will be forwarded towards this portion. Okay, so there are three pipes, P1, P2, and P3. Why we need to go for three pipes? Though here is only one pipe. Up to this, there is only one pipe. But here we are going for three different pipes because for the emergency situation, for the maintenance, breakdown, blockages, in all such conditions, we need to have the substitute arrangement. This is the first thing. That's why we are going for the multiple pipes. Second thing, we need to maintain the minimum velocity of flow as well as maximum velocity of flow. Means when wastewater is entering into this chamber, and if it is this P1 pipe is constructed at means through if there are, we can go for the 3 different walls for the P1, P2 and P3. If P1 is enough competent to transport the water, transport the wastewater, in that case, we will keep the wall closed P2 for the P2 and P3. And if it is getting overflow or the wastewater is more and the diameter of the P1 is smaller, in that case, we can open the P2. Or otherwise, we can manage, we can provide the height into this height of these 3 in such a way, automatically a consequent pipe will come into function. Okay, we can manage. Here you can see P1 is at the low level, P2 is at the high level, but P3 is also at the low level. Instead of that, you can go for this way design. You can go for P2, P3 at this height. Okay, so here P3 will be provided. Though the diameter of the P3 will be more, but P1 diameter is smaller and it is provided at the lower level. Means when there is less quantity of sewage, only P1 pipe will come into function. When quantity of sewage increasing, P2 pipe will come into function, and subsequently P3 will come into function. Means in that case, if you arrange such kinds of elevations, there is no need to provide the walls for the operation purpose. Automatically, it will come into function, and effectively the sewage will be transported from this end to this end with the help of inverted siphon. So these are the 2 reasons. What is the first reason? During blockage, breakdown, maintenance period, substitute arrangement is required. That's why 3 pipes we are providing. Another reason behind that is minimum velocity of flow and maximum velocity of flow. Okay, if you have provided one bigger diameter pipe, which will be compensating the entire sewage which is flowing through P1, P2 and P3, what will happen? During less flow, this will be able to flow up to this only. So minimum velocity of flow will not get satisfied in this with this diameter of the pipe. That's why we have to go for the 3 different pipes. So this way, minimum velocity of flow will be satisfied in the respective pipe, and there will not be the sedimentation. Okay, so that's why we can go for 3 different pipes. Okay, here you can see in this figure. Okay, here is the some breakdown. Means here you need to provide the arrangement for the maintenance. Here is also need to provide the ventilation pipe, through which, means when waste sewage is flowing with a speed, or otherwise also there is a decomposition of organic matter present into that sewage is going on. It is a continuous process, and during decomposition process there will be release of gases, and these gases usually carbon dioxide, hydrogen sulfide. Okay, so such gases, for the emission of such gases, there is a need to it should be escaped out properly, or otherwise it will create the air trap here or somewhere. And if air trap is created, again there will be bursting of the backward sides, or it will start flowing in a reverse direction. Sewage starts flowing in a reverse direction. So the air trap needs to be removed, and for that purpose, in between the siphon, we need to provide the ventilation. Okay, so this way there is a function of inverted siphon. So this is a section, this is a plan you can see once again, and you can understand. So through that, you can easily and smoothly transport the sewage from one side to another side of the obstacle. I hope you understood this part. So I will go back to that. So almost all appurtenances we have finished here. Okay, so some glimpses of the pictures to make you visualize how these systems are there. That's why I have added over here. We will take a look on this and then we'll proceed to the next point. Okay, have a look here, please. This is a section of road, crossing of road. Okay, so what happens usually here? There are the multiple vehicles are coming together. So like this way, they under the ground, under the road, there are the sewer lines and they are intersecting each other. So suppose I told you, whenever there is the change in direction, whenever there is a change in direction, whenever there is change in gradient, whenever there is change in diameter of pipe, at that place we need to provide the manhole. So in such a intersections, we need to provide the manholes. So manhole may be here, and these are the inlets. So where the storm water is getting collected. Okay, so suppose the sewer line is flowing this direction, in this direction. Okay, but at the same time here also sewage is being collected, and that sewage want to change the direction like this way, because the main pipe may be here. So these many such main pipes are coming together and then it is moving forward in a forward direction here. So that's why the diameter of pipe will be bigger as compared to this, this and this. Definitely. Are you agree with this? Whether we need to increase the diameter of pipe at this place?
Yes.
Yes, because the quantity is going to be increased over here. So we need to go to increase the diameter of sewer line. Okay, so likewise, wherever there is a change direction, change diameter, we need and change in gradient, there is an urgent need to provide the manholes. Okay, then we'll proceed to the next. So inlet. So someone asked me that day, madam, that combined type of vertical sewer and horizontal sewer I have shown to you, but combined sewer I have not shown to you. Here is the example of combined sewer. You can see here, this is a vertical and this is a horizontal. This is coming together. This is known as the combined sewer. So through this, wastewater is entering. Now, one more change you can note down here. This is a horizontal sewer. So for that horizontal sewer, the grading or the distance between two rods is more. Is it spacing between two rods is more? So what will happen? There are the chances to have the entry of larger size particles. But we cannot go for these kinds of structure at this place. Why we cannot go for this way? Because it will block. Immediately it will get blocked. So it should not get blocked. But in this case, we can reduce the spacing between two rods, because whatever the grit particle debris material is flowing along with the water, it will be saturated over here. Though it is not provided, only vertical inlet chamber is provided. In that case also, it will be saturated above the road surface. But the supernatant liquid will allow to enter into the sewer line through that vertical inlet. So in this case, we can provide the smaller size, but in the horizontal way, you cannot provide. But it is not possible to have such kinds of arrangements to have the vertical inlets everywhere. If it is a sufficient space, footpath is there, in that case, we can provide the vertical inlets. But when there is no such arrangements, in that case, we cannot go to provide the vertical inlets. In that case, we need to provide the horizontal inlets. So to overcome the problems which are arising with the horizontal inlets or the existing inlet, we have studied about the catch basins. And that catch basin will help us two ways. What is the first way? Who will tell me? What is the first benefit? What is the first benefit to provide the catch basin? Yes, please. Anyone can answer. I want answer, otherwise I will not move forward.
To reduce blockages.
To Rajnandini spoken? Ha, Rajnandini.
To reduce
So your voice is not clear. Can you please type in your chat box? Someone else can reply. There are two major advantages over the common inlet by constructing the catch basin. So what are these two major advantages? To reduce the blockages. Snehala and Rajnandani saying to reduce the blockages. Yes, because in a common type of inlets, we are allowing to enter the debris particles, and these are moving directly towards the main sewer line. So further it is going to be create a problem of blockages. So that can be overcome by constructing the catch basins instead of inlets. This is the first advantage. Another advantage I told you. What is the another advantage? Somebody else, Gitanjali Bagal. Gitanjali, at least you should unmute yourself and you should say, ma'am, I don't know, I know. You are not responding, that means you are not attending class. Anybody else? Yeah, Rajnandini again replied, control flooding condition, reduce blockages. Reduce blockages that Gitanjali we have already discussed. Control flood condition, actually this is not the answer, Rajnandini. Providing the inlets of the catch basin is for the control of flood condition, whatever temporary flood situation is creating that for that purpose. No, another very important advantage I told you. I will go back to that figure and I will explain you. I think many of you are replying, but exact answer I'm not getting. Yeah, to collect the aggregate, that is what blockages. In this design, what we are allowing to enter the debris particles directly and connected to the sewer line. So during the collection period, it is fine. Okay, it is fine because it is full with water. So there will not be any other issue. But during non-weather flow, during dry weather flow, when there is no water in this chamber, what will happen? A foul smell from a sewer line will start escaping in a reverse direction in the society, and unhygienic environment will be created. So that problem can be overcome by constructing catch basins. Here what we have done in a catch basin, the level of water is maintained in such a way that there will be no escape of gases, foul smells in a reverse direction. It will not be possible to escape the gases or the foul smell in a reverse direction. So that way, level of water we are trying to maintain over here in this figure. Okay, you can see here. So this is a hood deep up to this. Means until water level is not reaching up to this, until water level is not reaching up to this, it will not be getting out. That water is not getting out. Means forever it will remain up to this level. Is it? Forever that wastewater will remain up to this level. Then at 3:30. Okay. So in another earlier design, it was not possible like this because the outlet was provided at here. So the way it is moving in this direction, the foul smell also moving in this direction. immediately. But here it is not possible, or in this design also not possible, because we are maintaining water level up to this. As well as one more provision is done here, it will not allow. So water level here it is maintaining in this design, but it is helping to settle down the debris particles in this chamber only. But whenever there is no weather or there is no water, it may possible to escape the sewage into this direction if it is provided in this manner, straightforward. So the foul smell can start moving in a reverse direction. But here we have given a small bend to the pipe, and that bend to the pipe provided will help to store the water during the dry weather flow. And this will prevent the escape of gases or the foul smells in a reverse direction. Okay, that is the another bigger advantage of catch basin over the common inlets. Okay, so some other glimpses I will show you, and then we'll stop this part and then we'll go to the next point. So all these parts we have discussed. See this figure, catch basin. It can also be designed this way. Instead of here, you can increase the height of outlet. That way also you can go for avoiding this. Yeah, I was telling you through manhole, either man can enter into the sewer line, or we can send the tools for the cleaning purpose. Here you can see these are the two manholes. The empty space is shown as a, this one is the first manhole, this one is a second manhole. Okay, now this vehicle or this arrangement is sent for the tools, where and through this, with the help of this tool, this person came to know that obstacle is here, obstacle is at this place. So they will not operate this obstacle from this itself. Immediately they will switch to the second manhole, and from here they will start the cleaning process. Or if that sufficient space wire is available, they will go for the cleaning with this existing area. Or the man can enter through this and they will go for the cleaning. Okay, so I hope you are understanding better. Miss, you are able to picturize what exactly is going on this cleaning process. Are you? Okay, just look at this figure for 1 minute and then we'll move to the next. So this will make you help. This will be helpful to understand the function of manhole and its cleaning. Okay. So here you can see two different types. One is pressurizing the water, and another is tool provided for scrapping. Okay, or no. This is scrapping or the flowing the water from this direction, and they are sucking that material instead of forwarding and further it may go and it may block the further part also. So instead of that, it can be picked up over here. Okay, so suction pipe is provided over here, and they're sucking and collecting that entire waste in this vehicle. Okay, so this way also you can go to remove the obstacles in a sewer line and will allow to have the smooth function of the same. Okay, in this figure you can see manhole section is shown to you here, and here is the leakage. Look at here is the leakage, and then person can operate through this center. He can go for, so many of the time what happen actually, here is the straightforward leakage is being observed, but we may be observing the escape of water at this place, and we may feel that the leakage may be here itself or here, but it depends upon the type of soil and where from the crack has been taken. It may be here also. Okay, so in that case, unnecessary excavation to this side or this side, we cannot take the judgment from the surface. So for taking the exact judgment, there are some other equipments, or simply you can find out through this way itself where is the exact location of the leakages or the obstacles, and then you can provide the necessary arrangements. Okay. Drop manhole. Yesterday, I taught that point to you in day before yesterday, sorry. Drop manhole can be constructed in this manner. I think you have drawn earlier figure. So just have a look out in this. Some such small pipes maybe get connected to this sewer line. Whenever you are going for the maintenance, such kinds of care you need to take, safety care. Okay, or otherwise it may create a problem. Okay, this is a lamp hole, oil and grease trap, another type of design of the oil and grease trap. So oil and grease, usually the density of oil and grease is less than the water density and it starts floating on the surface. And from the surface itself, you can remove randomly, and until that it can be work effectively. Means this kind of design will prevent the entry of oil and grease into sewer line. Because what are the problems with respect to inner diameter? It will stick on the inner diameter, and because of the sticky layer from the inner diameter, other particles will start sticking on that, and finally the inner diameter starts decreasing. Okay, so output we will not get in that case. So inverted siphon we have discussed. Sewerage system that I have shown to you. Manhole from the road top, it can be look like this. You can have a look on this also. So how person can enter into this? It should not be the staircase the way we are providing in a building. That's why we usually call it rags, not the stairs. Okay. So in a straightforward vertical manner. Okay, smaller. If smaller one sewage is there, look at here the yellow part. So these are the inlets. Means from this side, 3 different pipes are entering here, and they will dispose their waste sewage into this manhole, and it will be forwarded into, because such a multiple inlets are there, that's why the diameter of this pipe is increased over here. These small house sieve or the laterals are connected to this submain. This is a submain type of manhole. Okay. And as per the depth, manholes are classified as per the type function. We have discussed there are the three types of manhole. One is the common manhole, another one is the drop manhole, and third one we have studied, that is the lamp hole. But as per the depth of the manhole, it is classified into three different types. First one is the shallow manhole, normal manhole, and the deep manhole. So what we can say shallow manhole? When the depth of the manhole is in the range of 0.7 to 0.9 meter. Okay, and usually it is constructed at the start of branch sewer, or at the place of not subjected to heavy traffic conditions. Okay, and it can be covered with a light cover top. Simply, it will be an inspection chamber. Means no need to enter into that, but we can send the tools or just open and look, have a look whether there is obstacles are there or not. That way purpose. So at initial stage, where the diameter of the sewer line is smaller, in that case you can provide the shallow manhole. And as the diameter of sewer line goes on increasing, it will move from shallow to normal and normal to deep. Okay. So what is the normal manhole? To what we can say normal manhole? For shallow, what is the depth? It is 0.7 to 0.9 meter. Okay. Note down please. For shallow manhole, or note down this, depending on the depth of manhole, there are three types. What are these three types? Shallow, normal, and deep. So note down please. Then I will proceed. Noted? Okay. Now what about normal manhole? To what we can see, it is a normal manhole when it is deep, 1.5 meter deep, and its a diameter is usually, dimensions are usually 1 meter by 1 meters. Okay. And deep manhole, what? When it is greater than, deeper than the 1.5 meter. Okay. Its a depth is usually more than 1.5 meter. And the section of manhole is not uniform throughout. At the surface, it will be smaller diameter, and at diameter, I'm saying diameter. Okay. Where first thing, as per depth, it is classified into three. First one is 0.7 to 0.9, then 1.5 meter, and greater than 1.5 meter, it is called the deep manhole. But it's a section, or the shape of this entire deep manhole will not be uniform throughout the depth. It will change. How it will change? At the surface, it will be smaller, then it will take bigger shape, and again at the depth, it will be smaller one. It will become smaller one. Why it is? I have received one message. Ma'am, magachi slide परत एकदा show करा, पण show करा ना please. Snehal Patil, which slide you are asking me?
Ma'am,
Okay. This one.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, next. So steps are provided in such a manhole for descending into the manhole. Okay, note down about normal manhole as well as about the deep manhole. And then the last part of the appurtenances we will discuss, and then we'll start about the hydraulic design. Over. Okay. Nehal is reply. Yes, Nehal replied that it is over. I hope other students also have completed this one. So I will proceed to the next point. Drop manhole. We have discussed. So very nice picture shown to you to understand the drop manhole. So the level of this road is up to this. Okay. But this side it may be deeper. So in that case, simply you can provide this kind of pipe. No need to provide. So this is the small manhole, or the this kind of manhole is provided for the submersibles. Okay, so that's why in that case you can keep that pipe inside the manhole. But if it is the bigger one manhole, deep manhole, in that case you cannot go for this. It itself is acting as a one of the obstacle. So in that case you may need. So this kind of section, open section will be available through which you can send the cleaning tools, or man can move in a forward direction. So it's a very smaller one shown to you, but this way, this is for your understanding. Okay. So here also drop manhole is shown to you. So in this case, because it is a deep manhole, here we have provided the outside. Okay. So flushing valve, it is a flushing valve provided. Okay, here is the pulley. You can open it. It will start flushing the water. Flush tank manhole. This is a flush tank manhole. And that's why water arrangement is also provided over here. Through this opening, you can close or open this water tap. And this is a lamp hole assembly. I hope entire sewerage system you understood in a better manner, because I have shown many pictures to make you understand. Okay. Spacing. So this is very important to know, that the spacing between two manholes. Okay, as per the diameter of pipe, we need to decide the distance between two manholes. So if it is the smaller, very small sewer at the start, or the so laterals are there, in that case, after 45 meter, you need to provide the manhole. And if it is in the depth is in between 0.9 to 1.5, in that case you can go for 90 to 150 meter distance between two manholes. And if it is 1.5 to 2 meter, in that case you can keep the spacing between two manhole as 150 to 200 meter. And for greater than that, you can increase the spacing between two manhole, and it can be equal to or greater than 300 meters. Okay. So note down this chart, please. Note down this chart and then we'll move forward. कोणाची केस आहे? Okay, or okay, Rajnandani replied that it is over. One more response from Gitanjali. Okay, we'll proceed to the next. Received one more response from Naneshwari Mali. Naneshwari ka. बरोबर आहे ना? Am I right? Naneshwari Mali and Rutuja Shirke. Okay, so we'll proceed. Inverted siphon. Ha. Now the last part is the pumping station. So pumping station, where it is required. So we have discussed pumping, or the pumping is the requirement where there is the flowing of water from low line to high line, or sometimes the basements are provided in a city. So in that case, for collection of sewage, we need to have the pumpings. But entire sewage from the city is being collected at one of the low line location, and from that, if required, if at the same location, if there is no space for the treatment plant construction, in that case, it will be again pumped into the high-lying area. So in that case, I have given to you an example of Pandharpur city. From the entire Pandharpur city, sewage is being collected in the Gopalpur. So near that bridge, which we are crossing to come to college. So before that bridge, there is a pumping station. The wastewater is collected into that pumping station by the gravity, and then it will be pumped and will proceed forwarded towards the treatment plant. Where is the treatment plant? It is at the high-lying area, backside to the Gopalpur. Okay. So then what are the requirements in the pumping station that we are going to see in this figure? So just pay attention here. I will explain first and then you can draw it. Okay. So here is the inlet. Usually pumping station is a closed conduit. Okay. It is a closed conduit usually. It needs to be constructed properly because it is a sewage and it is having a foul smell as well as septic characteristics. So the surrounding area should not get affected. That's why it should be in a closed conduit. It needs to be constructed. Viresh Kumar, mute yourself. Okay. So from this inlet, the sewage is from the entire city will be collected into this, through this inlet. Okay. Immediately at the inlet, there is a provision of sluice valve. SV stands for sluice valve. Why sluice valve is required? If pumping station is under maintenance or some other issues are going on, we should not allow to enter the sewage into this pumping station. We should close it. So that's why sluice valve. What is the function of sluice valve? It allow to flow the sewage or the liquid in only forward direction, not in a reverse direction. Okay, that you have studied in a water supply. So sluice valve is provided to move the water in a forward direction, and whenever there is no maintenance of this pumping station is going on, in that case, you can close it and stop entry of the sewage. Now, the sewage entered at this portion and collected in a first grit channel. So what is the function of grit channel? To remove the grit particles. What is meant by grit particles? Those particles are heavier in size, debris material like the broken pebbles, stones, sand, then eggshells, like this inorganic material usually. Okay, so it will be collected into this deep tank, and it will be lower level than the inlet pipe. And again, here is the provision made to remove the grids entered into this grid channel. How it can be removed? So this is a chain provided over here is the chain. So what it will be keep on rotating in a continuous motion like this. Okay. So while doing the movements at that time, it will be collecting. It will be deep here, and it will scrap entire whatever the debris particles or the grid settled over here, and each that particular bucket is having the holes. So what will happen because of that? Through that holes, the water will be fall down, whatever collected along with this debris here. Okay, but it will not allow to drop the debris over here. Means keep on collecting debris along with each bucket, but it will drop the water until it is reaching here. Entire water will be removed, and then once it is reaching here at this portion, it will be dropped into this collecting bucket. This is a collecting bucket, so it will be entire that debris particles will be collected over here in this collecting bucket, and then it can be, means this way you can remove the debris particles from this. Okay, so look at here. I hope first thing you understood. Okay, first entry is the design of grid channel for the removal of grids coming into the wastewater. Why we need to remove the grids? We have taken sufficient efforts at the collection point itself to remove the grid particles, but still there is a chances to have the grids. But before entering of the water into the pump, we must remove it. Otherwise, damage of pump is definitely possible. Okay, so that's why we are removing before the entry of sewage into the pumping pump. Now, after that, here you can see this is a coarse screen. What is the function of coarse screen? It will remove the larger size floating particles like the plastic carry bags, paper, broken pen, whatever be in a floating matter. But it is a larger enough. So with the help of coarse screen, you can remove these larger particles. Then wastewater move forward and will pass through the fine screen. Okay, fine screen is provided to remove the smaller particles, but it is in a floating form. Okay, so slowly and steadily at different places, you are removing the obstacles which will create problem for the pumping. Okay, so this way it is the coarse screen and this is the fine screen. Now after fine screen, coarse screen and fine screen, you can provide manual or mechanical one. Okay, means for cleaning purpose, either it will be manually work or it will be mechanically work. It depends upon your decision. Now you can see here, this is a green line is still continued. So this is a pipe, sewage pipe, which is forwarding the wastewater into the next chamber, and that chamber is known as the sump well. Okay, so where the wastewater will be dropped over here. So sump well, what is the function of sump well? That I will explain you. Okay, before that, let me clear all this. Without disconnecting this, how can be? So here you can see this is a sump well. Okay, depth of the sump well is greater than the grid channel. So where huge amount of sewage can be stored. It is a well-like structure. So here is the one wall is provided, permanent wall is provided. Okay, this one is the wall. Why it is provided? Wall is provided to separate out this chamber as well as this chamber. Okay. Otherwise, what are the other issues that I will tell you later on? But how it will function? So here is a pump. Okay. And to that pump, a motor is connected. So the wire from the motor is connected to the float. Okay. Here is the float at this portion. You can see here it is the float arranged. And switch, float which is operating with a switch. So float operating switch is provided over here. So this float operating switch will, you need not go for the on or off to this float operating switch. What you will, it can be work automatically. Automatically in the sense, if the level of water rising into this chamber, it will be switch on. If the level of water dropping down, it will be switched off. So that way it will be function automatically. So why we should go for this kind of arrangement? To have the continuous and constant flow to this pump. Otherwise, here there is no sufficient quantity of water and still pump is running. What will happen? That pump get damaged. So to avoid the damages to this pump, whenever there is sufficient quantity of water, it will be on, and when there is no sufficient quantity of wastewater, it will be off. So for that purpose, float is provided and the well, some well is provided. So here, from here, the wastewater will be pumped and it will be sent in a outward, okay, towards the high-lying area. So here also sluice valve is provided. What is the function of sluice valve? To allow water to flow in a forward direction. Okay, and this is a outlet chamber. So why here is the permanent wall is provided, separator wall is provided. Why it is provided separator wall? Because sometimes there is a maintenance, very randomly maintenance to the pump is required. So whenever the pump maintenance are required, that person who is going for the maintenance should not come into contact with the wastewater properties, because wastewater properties are very dangerous and harmful to the human being. So one should not come into contact with this property. So that's why the separation valve is provided. So this is the pumping station usually needs to be constructed for pumping of wastewater from low-lying to high-lying area. So for whenever there is an entire sewage is collected at the low-lying area and treatment plant is at the high-lying area, such kinds of pumping station needs to be designed. So I request everybody, you can draw this picture, and if you have question, you can ask. Ma'am, Rajnandini asked me a question. Let me read for you. Ma'am, how that wastage plastic small particles are removed from that treatment? Yeah, that is what I told you. So this arrangement, this way you can pick it up by the मेकॅनिकल ऍक्शन, म्हणजे तिथे पण आपण चेन लावू शकतो की एका रॅन्डम पिरियड नंतर इट विल पिक इट अप टू द सरफेस, or otherwise whenever you want to go for the maintenance, you can remove manually. Okay, so here I have not shown, but here also there is a need to provide the manhole, sorry, opening, manhole type of opening through which man can enter and he can go for the removal of such obstacles, or otherwise mechanical operation can be provided, randomly it will pick it up. So that kind of chains you can provide. Okay, anything else? If no more question, I request everybody to draw this picture. If you have question, you can ask me. Okay, please draw it. It will take little time to complete. Let me check messages. What messages? Okay, Rutuja and Rajnandini saying it is over. I will give you 1 more minute to finish. Then for all, only 2 messages received. Yeah, received from Sneha also now. Poonam Mane also replied. Okay, I assume that everybody have completed. Nanashri replied. Okay, now we'll proceed to the next point. Okay, so this part is over. Now I will change the slides. So at the time of explanation of the characteristics of the wastewater, I told you we are going to take a deep dive about the BOD. Okay, so once again we will start that. What is BOD? It is a biochemical oxygen demand, which represents the amount of oxygen consumed by bacteria and other microorganisms while they decompose the organic matter under aerobic condition, okay, at a specified temperature. So this is the definition we have discussed, but further part about the BOD we are going to discuss. So what is that further part? So the test for how to perform the test for BOD. In short, that day I have explained to you how to go for testing of BOD. Testing of BOD is nothing but testing of dissolved oxygen level on the first day, or we can say 0th day. If I have performed the dissolved oxygen test for 1 bottle, I can take 2 bottles. 1 bottle I have tested dissolved oxygen level on the 0th day, means today, and on 5th day, by keeping that bottle into an incubator for 20 degrees Celsius temperature, I can check that BOD dissolved oxygen level of that another bottle on the 5th day. Okay, on 5th day, I can check the dissolved oxygen level in a second BOD, second bottle. So DO0, so dissolved oxygen level calculated or determined on 0th day, I will assume that DO0, and dissolved oxygen level calculated or determined on the 5th day, I will assume that it is a DO5. So DO0 minus DO5. That way you can find out the difference between 2 DO level, or we can say simply consumed oxygen level. Okay, so that is nothing but the BOD. So it is a procedure that measures the oxygen consumed by bacteria from the decomposition of organic matter. the change in DO concentration is measured over a given period of time in water sample at a specified temperature. Therefore, it is used to measure the amount of certain type of organic water pollution. BOD is calculated by keeping a sample of water containing a known amount of oxygen for 5 days at 20 degrees Celsius. The oxygen content is measured again and BOD is calculated. Okay, so this is a testing procedure. Now there are two methods to determine the BOD. So first method is known as the direct method and second method is known as the dilution method. So what is meant by direct method? Simply the way I told you just now, note down the dissolved oxygen level in a first bottle on the DO on 0th the day. Here I have not written 5. So please correct that formula here. It should be written 5. Okay, or any other on which day you have calculated with what temperature. Okay, so that way BOD can be calculated in a milligram per liter. So I request everybody to note down this formula to determine the BOD by using a direct method. Okay, and that direct method can be measured simply oxygen consumed. Direct method in the sense, simply you can take a sample and perform the DO test for 0th day, DO test for 5th day, and difference between these two is nothing but the calculation of DO and DO0 and calculation of DO5. Difference between these two in a milligram per liter, that is BOD5 by using the direct method. Because here we have taken a 5 days, we have written here suffix as a 5. If I have taken this test on 3rd day at 25 degrees Celsius, I can write here BOD3. Okay, so this way. So this formula I request everybody to note down, please. There are two methods for BOD determination. First one is the direct method and another one is the dilution method. So in some cases, third one method is also used and that method is known as the seeding method. So difference between these three methods I am going to explain you. So first of all, I request everybody to note down this direct method formula. कशासाठी चाललंय हे? पहिली जुनी काढायची का नवीन टाकायला लागले त्यासाठी जुनी काढून द्यायची आता अवेलेबल असणार आहे का नेटवर्क
तुमची आहे
हा नाही मी हे वायफाय वर घेते अच्छा म्हणजे लेक्चरच्या मध्येच माझं हे डिस्टर्ब होणे म्हणून विचार ओके So I hope you have noted down the first formula to measure the BOD by using the direct method. Now, another one method is the dilution method. Dilution method in the sense where it is required, that I will tell you. Sometimes the concentration of organic matter in a wastewater is very high. So it becomes difficult to find out the exact amount of BOD present into that. Or because of that high concentration of organic matter in that given wastewater sample, it is quite difficult to know the amount of oxygen, dissolved oxygen. It usually shows absent on the 0th day itself. Okay, so for that purpose, we need to dilute that sample with distilled water. And then you can find out the dissolved oxygen level by using the same method which is used for the direct method. So that method is known as the dilution method. And what is the formula to measure the dilution method, BOD by using the dilution method? Simply BOD5 is equal to oxygen consumed into dilution ratio. Or oxygen consumed, what way it is written? DO0 minus DO5. So please correct this. Everybody is requested to please do this correction over here. In your notebook, it should not be like this. DO5, DO naught minus DO5 into dilution ratio. Now, what is the dilution ratio or how to calculate that dilution ratio? That formula is nothing but volume of diluted sample upon volume of undiluted sewage sample. Okay, so usually the volume of diluted sample is taken into the 10 factor. So if here I have taken 100 ml of dilution sample, okay, a diluted sample, 100 ml of diluted sample, and one volume of undiluted sample I have taken here 1 ml. So what will be the dilution ratio? It will be 100. Means what? How you are going for this 100 ml? You can take a measurement tool for the 100 ml, or usually volumetric flask. What you can say volumetric flask? It is usually like this. This is known as the volumetric flask. In this, you can take first of all 1 ml sewage sample which you want to dilute. Okay, then add the distilled water up to the mark. Up to the mark means when it is reaching to 100 ml. Okay, so that quantum 1 ml plus this 99 ml, it is becoming a 100 ml. So this way it is taken 100 ml, and because undiluted sample or the sewage sample we have taken only 1 ml, so I can write here 1 ml. So this way dilution factor is coming as a 100 ml, and then you can multiply through this consumed oxygen. You will get the BOD by using the dilution method. Okay. So let me check what question received to me in a chat box. Yeah, Ashutosh Power is saying okay. Okay. To whom okay you are saying? Whether internal chats are going on or you are saying me to okay? Ashutosh. Ashutosh, you are requested to reply. Okay, note down this formula. So here should be 5. So please write here 5. Because oxygen consumed is the DO naught minus DO5 into dilution ratio. And how to calculate dilution ratio? Volume of diluted sample upon volume of undiluted sewage sample. Once you finish, let me know so we can proceed to the next point. Have you finished? Okay, some unknown names I will take. Akanksha Kale, Shruti Jadhav. From boys, very few students are replying. Only girls are replying randomly. Vaibhavi Kamble. Vaibhavi. Uday Singh completed. Ashutosh is saying only okay. Please show the definition for BOD. Okay, sure. If it is done, then I will go back to that slide. I will give 30 seconds more to other students. Sujit Patil. Sujit Patil, have you completed? Whether this slide is written by you, Sujit Patil. Otherwise, I will assume, if you are not replying, I will assume that you are absent. For the sake only you have joined the class. Is it like this, Sujit? How the slide has been changed? Okay. Who replied? Yes, ma'am. Sorry, I couldn't hear you. Vaibhavi is saying. Okay. So who asked me? Someone asked me to go back to definition. Yes, please note down this definition if you wish. एक 10 मिनिट लास्ट काय चाल काय अर्जंट आहे का एक 10 मिनिटांनी नाही 10 मिनिटांनी आता 3:30 लाच आहे मला जरा लंच ब्रेक घेऊ द्या आता लंच ब्रेक नाही घेतला Okay, Dhaneshwari is saying done. Okay, so this slide is done by her as the request from her only that I have displayed for her. Now the third one, I told you there are the 3 methods you can go for the BOD determination. One is the direct method, another one is the dilution method. Both I hope you understood. And third one is the seeding method, where that method is required. I have not written here. I will tell you only the information about that method. Seeding method. Seeding method in the sense, sometimes sewage is not sufficiently saturated with, satisfied with the organic matter and, with the microorganisms or the bacteria. Organic matter is present, but the bacteria are absent. In that case, decomposition doesn't perform. So in such a cases, we need to add some quantum of sewage which are having bacteria. So that method is known as the seeding method. So very rarely such kinds of arrangements are needs to be done. Otherwise, these 2 methods are competent to find out the BOD file. Now, so since long time we are talking about this, it is the organic matter present in a wastewater belongs to 2 groups. What are these 2 groups? Carbonaceous matter and nitrogenous matter. Okay, so carbonaceous matter in the sense, the amount of oxygen consumed for the decomposition of carbonaceous organic matter, and that BOD belongs to the carbonaceous BOD. And the amount of oxygen consumed, or for the amount of oxygen consumed for the decomposition of nitrogenous matter is known as the nitrogenous matter. Actually, I'm not finding that slide here, which shows how that lag and log graph of the BOD. So in the next lecture, I will add that graph, and with the help of that graph, I will explain how these two stages means carbonaceous matter or the amount of oxygen consumed for the decomposition of carbonaceous material is known as the carbonaceous BOD or CBOD or first stage BOD. Okay, or first stage BOD, and the amount of oxygen consumed for the decomposition of nitrogenous organic matter is known as the nitrogenous BOD or NBOD or second stage BOD. So remember this difference between these two types of stages. Okay, two groups of the organic matter present in the sewage. Then in further part, we are going to study how to find out the BOD at a specific time. So you can see here. So how to go for the first stage BOD formulation, that I will tell you. First of all, before that, you note down this, and timing I will note down attendance as a third stage of attendance note down. So I will note down your attendance timing. You can note down here. This slide, please.
Recording.
Okay, so before I go to explain the first stage BOD, so as last of 4 minutes remain over here, I will just tell you usually what happens. So this is suppose this is a river or any pond may be there, not necessary to have the flow running water, maybe the stagnant water also like this. Okay, suppose so organic matter, when you are disposing sewage here, okay, you are disposing sewage here, at this stage you can say amount of organic matter present into initial, so amount of organic matter present into that sewage is L0, okay, at the 0th time. With respect to time we are talking, so at certain time, suppose here, if you are finding amount of organic matter, usually L0 is used to find out the amount of organic matter present initially or 0th time. So at any time, if you are measuring, it can be denoted by the notion LT. Okay. And if it is at the specific time, suppose fifth day, it is the fifth day. So I can say here it is a L5. Okay. So likewise, BOD measured at the 0th time will be give the notation Y0. If BOD measured at a specific time period, the notation will be given as a YT. And if the BOD is measured at the specific known period of time, at that time you can say it is a Y5, Y3, Y7, whatever may be there. Okay. So that way these concepts are required to understand to go for the finding out for the formulation of first stage BOD. Okay. So what is that first stage BOD that we are going to discuss in the next lecture? Okay. So if you have any question, you can ask me. Any question, guys? So tomorrow one more lecture is there. In that lecture, we will finish that BOD part, and 2 more lectures will require to chapter 1, because chapter 1 is bigger one as compared to all other chapters. So 2 more lectures will require to finish the chapter 1. Tomorrow, 3 more lectures. Tomorrow's lecture and 2 more. So total 3 hours are required to finish the first chapter. So I hope you are understanding and you are also enjoying this session. On group, you are asking me to send PPTs. I have kept it into the teaching diary. Snehal, it is available in teaching diary. Only you need to log in with your official email ID. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Otherwise, also I will try to share on your. How they? Whether you were saying something.
No, ma'am. By default.
Okay, no problem. You have sent me request to share the PPTs. I allowed you, but I request everybody to log in with your official email ID, because the access is given to the official email ID. So meanwhile, your official email ID will remain in working, because we used to communicate many things through your official email IDs. So through that, you will take care to keep your official email ID in active position. Okay. So with this note, I declare the lecture is over. You can leave the class. Thank you.